Hey there. Hi, I'm Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy. Thanks for joining me this week. It's March 13th, 2023, and we're here talking about, of course, the night sky and what we can see in the heavens above this week. So thankful that you're joining me wherever that is. I'd love to hear where you are watching from around the world. And of course, all my friends on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, Twitch as well. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. Make sure you also hit that like and share this video with your friends and family. Let's get more people to look up and enjoy the night sky. Well, I don't know. Did you guys get to do any sky watching this weekend? Did you get to see those planets that are still dominating the western sky? If we turn to our planetarium without further ado, we can see that there is the two planets. The two planets, Jupiter and Venus, are really just gorgeous in the western sky. Now, you got to be quick because they do head down into they sink below the western horizon, following the sun very, very quickly. And so you have a little bit of time. So this is what the view is on tonight on the broadcast, which is, of course, Monday the 13th. And if we just kind of show in an hour after local sunset. Now, this is set for around Montreal, Canada, where I'm located, the snowy Montreal. We've got snow falling here, and it's doesn't look like spring yet. I know spring is about only 1 week away. I can't believe it. But here for us Montrealers, and I think a lot of Canadians, we're still socked in with a lot of snow. There's snow in the forecast. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do much stargazing. I hope you have clear skies. But if you do, maybe you're walking your dog, maybe you're driving home and you look towards the sunset. This is the view that you would get. This is an hour after local sunset. Of course, we had our daylight savings time kick in, and we have a little bit later, an hour later sunset than we had last week. And if you look towards that west, this is an hour after sunset. This is what you would see. Now, depending on where you are on the Earth, the orientation of these two planets will be different, right? Depending on your latitude, maybe you're in the southern hemisphere, maybe you're near the equator. This could be a little bit different. But for me, at about 45-degree latitude north, halfway between the North Pole and the equator, This is kind of the view that would be similar to folks New York, Washington, Seattle, uh, Tokyo, London, Rome. This is the kind of view that you would get approximately. And it's just gorgeous. These two planets are the dominating planets. Venus, of course, is the second planet from the sun, and Jupiter is the fifth planet from the sun and is the largest of all planets. So it is very reflective, very bright. It's considered one of the brightest planets. And both of these are in the constellation Pisces, the fishes. You can see that there setting very quickly. Now, the moon is out of the evening sky this week, which makes it a perfect time to do what we call in astronomy circles deep sky observing. So, those of you that are not familiar with it, deep sky observing is basically when you're looking at things that are beyond the solar system. So, we're looking at things that are beyond the last planet, beyond the Oort cloud, the interstellar realm, basically looking out into the Milky Way and beyond. And so we're looking at other stars, and it's perfect because without the moon in the sky, we get to see a lot more. A lot more stuff in deep sky object-wise, clearer, the contrasts are better. You can bring out your telescope and binoculars and really get to see them much better, even if you're living under light-polluted skies. The moon being out of the sky this week is perfect. So look at what you've got. You've got here a collection of the brightest of constellations, and Orion is, of course, one of them. Orion being, the hunter, one of the kind of guideposts in terms of the winter sky for the northern hemisphere. And those of you who are in the southern hemisphere, it's the summertime, the end of your summer. This is kind of like one of the guideposts of looking around and learning the night sky. Doesn't get better than seeing Orion. The belt of Orion is right there. And so this time of the year, we're kind of heading out of the season, prime season for viewing Orion and its friends. Friends like the Canis Major and of Sirius, or perhaps Taurus, the bull. These were really prominent in the evening skies in late fall and winter time in the northern hemisphere, and we're kind of getting past that. And while we're in this part of the section of the sky and you're looking at this, you'll notice that there are three orangey red stars that form a triangle, right? You've got Mars, which is not a star, it's a planet, right? That's the fourth planet from the sun. Then you've got Aldebaran, which marks the eye of Taurus the bull. And then you've got super powerhouse monster star Betelgeuse rounding out this triangle pattern. Really easy to see. You'll know where you're looking because it's just basically following this kind of crooked line arc from Jupiter and Venus. An hour after sunset, you'll start seeing these stars. Of course, if you wait later in the night, maybe a couple of hours after sunset, then you get to see the full beauty of this collection of wintertime or summertime stars, depending on where you are on the world. This time of the year, these are kind of our last really grand views that we will get until next year in our evening skies for this collection of stars that really circle Orion. Orion's kind of the centerpiece of these beautiful stars. And I just want to draw your attention, if you have binoculars and telescopes, don't miss your chance to find Orion, the nebula Orion has embedded in its sword. There you get to see the belt of Orion, marked by these super bright three stars. These are probably the most prominent stars in this time of the year, in this season. And just underneath it, if you look carefully, you'll have three other bright stars that mark the sword of Orion, the mythical hunter. And the center star of this three stars, if we zoom in, you'll see it's not a star in itself, just a singular star. It's actually a gas and dust cloud. We call that a nebula, a type of nebula that is basically a nursery for stars. It's where baby stars are born. A collection of stars are embedded inside this cloud, and the radiation from those baby stars basically makes that cloud of gas glow like a neon sign. And that's what you're seeing here. This is, of course, an artistic interpretation. Also, a photograph has been laid over in this planetarium program, which, by the way, is Sky Safari, my favorite go-to planetarium program I use. And it's just beautiful. You can see in this rendering, it looks like a blooming kind of flower. If I look at this and I show you an amateur photograph of it, and I can tell you it's not very much of an amateur photograph, it's beautiful. This here you can see, it looks like a downward turned blooming flower, doesn't it? Isn't it just gorgeous? Look at that. Look at the intricate details. It's like a cosmic tapestry. This, of course, is a long exposure photograph, or it's stacked with multiple exposures, probably I'm not sure, I haven't looked at it, but it's could be a digital photograph. These are the kind of works that advanced amateurs are able to do. People who has the hobby of taking pictures of night sky objects, deep sky objects like this Orion Nebula, have put in hours and hours of work to be able to do that, or perhaps even years of really tweaking this. It's almost like a piece of art. Really is. It's just absolutely beautiful. And what is amazing, folks, is that you can glimpse this with the naked eye. If you have dark skies, no moon this week, perfect challenge to try to find this object with the naked eye. It'll look like a little fuzzy glow, the middle star in the sword of Orion right there. You should be able to glimpse it with the naked eye. Binoculars will definitely help. And of course, if you have a telescope, you'll be able to start seeing this grayish green glow that'll look like to the eye looking through the eyepiece of the telescope. To actually see the colors, you need to take that photograph. Imaging would be what would be required to pick up those beautiful colors that I showed you in this photograph of it. So it's there, but it's looking like, here's another photograph of it. You can see. But it's not quite the same as if you can see it with your naked eye. Because what's interesting is you're looking at something that's 1,300 light years away, 1,300 years that the light takes to reach your eye. What you're seeing here is a Hubble photograph close up inside the cloud, looking at what are called proplyds. See that little thing at the bottom there that kind of looks like a teardrop shape? That is actually a baby solar system being born. There's a young star embedded in that little teardrop shaped cloud within this larger cloud. It's condensed into this little blob. It's called a proplyd. And that is the beginning of a planetary system, a solar system of sorts, with its own planets. And there's multiples of that within this cloud we call the Orion Nebula. Really amazing just to be able to see the photons of light hit your eye. It's incredible to think 1,300 light years away, a star factory, multiple stars being born. In fact, what's interesting is you're looking at a snapshot of what probably looked like the birthplace of our own sun. Our sun was probably born in a similar cloud like this 5 billion years ago. 5 billion years. It's just amazing to think. So this is really one of my favorite, exploring discovery grounds in the sky. And like I said, prime time for it is we're heading out over the next month or so. It's really going to start getting harder to see because it's going to get buried in the glow of the sunset. And so this is a view a couple of hours after sunset, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. So by around midnight, it's setting on the horizon. It'll become that much difficult. And remember, the best way to see a lot of these deep sky, here's a little tip for you guys. If you want to see really good views of deep sky objects, you want to watch them while they're higher up in the sky. The reason being is that the higher the view, like here you can see earlier on, so I would say the sweet spot here for Orion would be around 9, 10 o'clock at night, is that you're looking through less of a column of air, the atmosphere above us. So when we're talking about looking at deep sky objects, it's actually advantageous for you as an observer to look through less of a column of air. The column of air above us contributes a blurring effect, basically, for the object that you're looking at. So in this case, Orion. It'll look blurrier if you're looking through a thicker column of air. When would that be? When the object is closer to the ground, closer to the horizon. You're looking through a thicker column of air, right? When you're looking for something at the horizon, as opposed to high above the zenith, which we call the zenith, above our heads, the column of air is thinner. Therefore, the blurring effect will be less. So the objects will, interstellar objects will look clear. In fact, even planets will look clear. Anything cosmic will look clearer if the object is above you, as close to above as possible. Now, with Orion, it's probably best, therefore, to catch the view when it's higher up, earlier in the evening, because it will set. By midnight, it will set below the horizon. So some tips there of when to time your observations. So there you go. Jojo says hello from Socorro, New Mexico. Great for you to join us. Deanna says, great photographs. I love nebula. Regards from Serbia. That's fantastic. Michael from New Jersey. Hey, nice of you to join us. Matt from West Midlands, England. Hope you're having clear skies. KJ from Alaska. Hey, getting harder to watch the night sky every evening. Of course, I can understand that. Of course, because the nights are getting shorter for you, and so take advantage as much. D from Georgia, USA. Kevin from Caribbean. Wow. Carrie from Michigan, USA. And Linda from London, England. Hope everyone is well. So lovely. I'm so happy to see you guys. Now, there is something else that you guys should be aware of is, of course, the moon. Where is the moon, right? We said that the moon isn't in the evening sky. Well, if we turn our attention to the early morning, maybe perhaps you get up early in the morning, there is something to view. So why don't we switch our skies to sunrise? There you go. Looking towards the southwest. And it's Monday 13th. This was this morning. So in the past already. Maybe you were up and you might have seen the moon. There you can see a waxing moon right there. It's a waning gibbous moon, I should say, because we had our full moon last week, right? The worm full moon, as the March full moon is known. Maybe perhaps, did you see it? It was really beautiful, I have to say. But what's really cool is we are seeing the moon positioned next to, inside Scorpion, the Scorpius constellation. The giant arachnoid has the moon in its clutches around next to one of its claws right there. And it's closing in on a beautiful orange-colored star. This star is called Antares, which means anti-Mars. Can you guess why? Well, I'll tell you. It's because it's orange. Very similar in coloration as the red planet itself. And so ancient folks, astronomers, likened it to it and called it Antares, the Greek astronomers. Anti-Mars. Ares was the name of Mars back then, and they called it anti-Mars, or the rival of Mars, because the coloration was so similar. And you could take that, look at that yourself, look at Mars tonight, and then in the morning, look at Antares, and you'll see that the coloration is very similar. Now, the moon is going to be gliding past it. So let's look Tuesday, March 14th. This is where the moon will be. On the other side, we'll flip the sides from what it was this morning, March 13th, to Tuesday morning. Again, this would be at dawn. I would go out at least a half hour before your local sunrise. So for me here, my sunrise is in Montreal around 7 o'clock in the morning. I would go out maybe 6:30, 6:15, maybe 3/4 an hour before sunrise. And this is the view that would greet me where I am in the south, looking at Antares right there next to the moon. Just a beautiful sight. Now, if we move forward in time, let's finish up today's broadcast by showing the moon will kind of move away from Scorpius and enter what's called the constellation Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is well defined by a group of stars, which is called an asterism. An asterism is not a constellation, it's actually a group of stars that visually to the human eye makes a pattern, a very visible pattern. And in this case, it looks like a giant teapot. And this teapot here, you can see the handle of the teapot, the lid of the teapot, the spout of the teapot over here, and there's the moon. And this is the view by Wednesday, March 15th. Thursday, March 15th, the moon is going to be embedded right in the handle of the giant celestial teapot. So it's a really nice way to end this broadcast, I think, is to be able to go out this week and see the moon in the morning. So you got to be an early bird for this. But those of you that do evening sky watching, it's a great time too, because the moon is not going to be in your way interfering with those great views of the Milky Way, basically. And if you're interested in finding out some more information about astronomy, I invite you to maybe check out my book, Backyard Guide to the Night Sky. It's out by National Geographic. It's a bestseller on Amazon. Thanks to you, all my friends out there, for supporting it. It's a great book because it's soft cover, it's small format, and it's not very expensive. It's available, like I said, wherever fine books are sold. If you're interested to get a signed dedicated copy, I sell those on my website, thenightskyguy.com. I'll have a link to that as well. And if you want to get maybe a nice gift idea or something a little bit more serious, I had a book just released a few months ago called Stargazer's Atlas. I am a co-author on this book. Fantastic book on the entire night sky, the humanity's connection to the night sky across history, talks about archaeoastronomy, astrotourism, traveling with the mind of looking at the night sky from different places, dark sky parks, all of that is explored. And of course, at the heart of this is a true atlas, all 88 constellations that are visible to the naked eye, and all the wonderful treasures, deep sky treasures that are available. It's a 6.5-pound book, so it's not something you would put in your back pocket or travel with, but it's something that you would use indoors to kind of map out what you want to see in your next night sky adventure that you'd want to do. Maybe you're clouded out. This is a great way to kind of get familiar with the night sky, learn about the constellations, all 88 visible from every corner of the world. It's covered in this book, and I'm selling signed dedicated copies on my website. I'll put a link to that after the broadcast in the comment section, so stay tuned for that. And with that, I want to thank you so much for joining me again this week. It was wonderful. Lots of really cool things to see. I'll put a sky chart up on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, Twitter. So just you'll find me at The Night Sky Guy for all of that. I want to thank you for your support. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to my channels, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Your support means a lot, allows me to bring these videos every week into your homes. Thanks so much for your attention, and as always, I'll see you on the next video. Until then, I wish all of you clear skies. Bye-bye.